avenues. First being our professional and personal development tools, which include monthly webinars, workbooks, assessments, and audio and video resources to help overcome the challenges most women face in their career and businesses. Second is our inspiring conversation series held on Instagram Live 3 out of 4 Saturdays a month, featuring ladies within the network who are doing extraordinary things in their lives. Third being our Power Up Monday series, where one word is chosen and used to motivate members of the community. These powerful 1-minute bite-sized nuggets have been known to charge up EPR women as they enter into a new week. Next is our quarterly hangouts built to foster collaboration and networking. We've held activities such as virtual tea parties, celebrated International Women's Day, and other fun activities. Lastly is the annual Virtual Emergence Conference. EPR's Women's Professional Network is a one-stop EPR Women's Professional
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the June 2022 edition of the EPR Women's Professional Network monthly webinar series. My name is Kumbi Disu, and I'm a member of the EPR Women's Professional Network, joining in from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja of Nigeria. And it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's session. Our topic for today, as you can see, is to invest or not to invest, and demystifying real estate. So as we look forward to learning from our amazing panelists that we have today, and having some very professional, engaging discussions concerning our topic, I hope that you guys glean a lot of information, useful information for yourselves. So as you join in today for our session, I would love to hear from you all where you're joining in from. In the chat, you can notify us in the chat where you're joining in from at this moment. We'll just wait for a couple more folks to send in their information. Hello, you're joining in from Maryland. Hello, Maryland. Hello, DMV. Hi, Lola from the US. Welcome from London. Hi, Chichi. Hello, Texas. Yes, we're all coming in from all over, UK, London. I'm excited to have you guys on here. This is wonderful. This is exciting. Just gonna give us a few more minutes to see if we get over. Okay, while we want to go over kindly keep your mics on mute throughout the session so that we don't have any feedback that would interrupt the session, as well as ensure that we grab a notepad and a pen because we don't want to miss out on any of the needed information. And let's just get ready. Let's get pumped to engage and to learn from our speakers today. And do feel free, please. That's what we want, to post your comments and your questions in the chat box as well. So yeah, that's what we have for you today. And so as we go on, before we start, I wanted us to just cover a little bit of just some information, just for the benefit of those who might be new to the EPR Women's Professional Network and this platform. This assess the tools to deploy and resources to deploy their gifts and talents in the marketplace. And our purpose as an organization is to build up and empower our women to achieve the best in their personal and their professional lives. So yes, and so I would like to have us introduce before we move on to getting to the nitty-gritty of our discussions today. I would like to introduce our wonderful moderator, Kemi Akinduture. She describes herself as an enabler who helps individuals and organizations effectively execute their visions and their missions. And so she is the founder, principal human capital consultant, and coach at Emerge Company, LLC. And she brings to her practice over 18 years of progressive experience in a Fortune 500 company. And so she's basically leveraged her strengths in admin, project management, and leadership, and supporting different roles in corporate and nonprofit organizations and things like that. And so some of her hobbies include reading, journaling, writing, and most importantly, spending quality time with her lovely family, her husband and her 2 daughters. And so I just want to thank you guys for listening to us at this moment. And I would love to introduce Kemi Akinduture at this moment to take the lead and bring us into our session today.
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly? Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. Hello, everyone. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, Kumbi. Thank you to all our panelists and all our participants that have shown up today. It's definitely our pleasure to have you all. And of course, today, excited to be, in the midst of such greatness. We have our some amazing panelists here that will take us through, as Kumbi mentioned earlier, some really deep insights and, information, advice, and guidance around investment in real estate in various regions, various countries. And, so if you're looking to be a global, investor, you're in the right place today. If you're curious about various places to invest, no matter how much you have, this is the best place for you to be today. So I want to encourage you, please, before we move on any further, take a moment and forward the link to sign on. Kind of forward it to your friends, family, loved ones. There's lots of information and insights that will be gained today. So before I go into introductions, but again, thank you so much for being here. So first of all, it is my pleasure to introduce our panelists today. Before we start moderating the session, we have Mrs. Dolapo Onibolumola. But welcome, Dolapo. She's the CEO of Citygate Homes Limited and Citygate Property Development in the UK. So she's bringing that UK perspective to us today. Got started very early, several years ago in 2008, part-time. And then after that, she quit her full-time job, very successful job, and decided to pursue her passion for property investment. And she does that full-time till today and has been very successful at it. She has recently been featured on BBC One's Home Under the Hammer, showcasing a recent project that runs a multi-million pound property portfolio based in London, which offers a one-stop shop for investors and buyers, providing services, various services to them in the real estate area. She's an MBA from George Washington University, which is an amazing university, lots of experience in the corporate world. As you can see, she's also a wife. She's extremely busy, mother of 2 lovely children, and she also runs a popular podcast called Property Moms, Getting Started in Property. So today, join me in welcoming Dolapo. I'm gonna introduce Kenneth. Kenneth is joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. He is, he has over 23 years of experience in the property industry, specializes in urban property valuations in Kenya and across the East African region. So very, very well versed in property management. His expertise spans just various areas, valuation in various categories and assets, lands, furniture, fittings, equipment, just name it. Holds a bachelor's degree in land management, but also is a full-time member of several institutions, as you can see here. I won't read it all, just, as there's just a lot packed in here. But again, you have an extremely experienced, extremely extremely a lot of deep experience in this region. He's also the immediate past CEO of Stanlib Fahari REIT, and you'll hear a little bit more about REIT shortly. Having joined the team running the first listed REIT in Kenya and East Africa in November 2016. Extremely successful. He is currently a partner at Lloyd Masika Limited and heads the agency services. Also the current chairman of the RET Association of Kenya. So join me today in welcoming Kenneth as you get ready to learn more about how to invest, what you should think of if you want to invest in the East African region today. Next, we have our guest, a panelist from Nigeria. I'm sure, we have a few Nigerians in our midst also. Meet Timi Ajayi. Timi is a real estate broker, property investment advisor. He is highly motivated to help people, especially millennials, and I'm sure we have a lot of millennials in our midst, to build wealth through a more accessible real estate investment landscape. He is doing extremely well, and with that, right now, he's extremely successful. Some of you may have heard him speak. Of course, educated in estate management, has gained extensive experience. He's helped individuals and institutional investors invest profitably in real estate across various locations in Nigeria. Currently, the managing partner at Prime Ridge Real Estate Limited. Ladies, please join me in welcoming Mr. Timi as he shares more with us around real estate investment in Nigeria. And finally, last but not the least, meet Titilola Awoyemi. She is bringing the perspective from the United States. Titilola is the vice president for mortgage lending here in the US. He has an MBA from the University of Maryland, extremely experienced in the space, highly innovative, very resourceful leader and entrepreneur with over 17 years of experience, business management, banking, loan origination, and she just really has a heart for people. She's an entrepreneur, as I mentioned earlier. God, has driven lots of initiatives, very creative. If you're looking for that, person that is, she's an investor at heart. She brings that perspective and will give you some sound advice with regards to your investment. Very passionate about preferring solutions and giving back to the community. She's actually one of our senior executive leaders within EPR Global. So join me in welcoming Titilola Awoyemi today. Thank you, Titilola, for joining us. We're looking forward to hearing from every one of our panelists today. I want to just mention here again, the way we've designed the session today is such that each of the panelists, again, they're bringing perspectives from different locations, again, because our critical mass from an EPR Global perspective is we have a critical mass in the United States, the UK, Kenya, as well as Nigeria. So bringing those perspectives, but I'm sure we're going to learn even more. So the first part of this session today is going to be where we have each of our panelists go through just a short presentation, just giving you some content with regards to their area in which they're located and they're practicing in. We'll do that on the onset, and then we'll move into a Q&A session. Here's my charge to you. As you listen, I want you to listen from a couple of perspectives. First, if you're in those particular locations, beautiful. Just go ahead and make sure that you're capturing information and your questions that you might have that you can put in chat so that our team behind the scenes will capture them so that when it's the Q&A session, you have an opportunity to ask those questions. We'll ask those questions live. And in some cases, if we have time, we'll have people come off camera if they desire to address questions. So we're going to do that in the first half. And then second half is free for all. We're going to now go deep into the conversations. If you're in another region, you're in the US, you want to invest in Nigeria and East Africa, great opportunity. Listen with those ears because there are opportunities, there are also challenges there. So we're here to get insight, understanding, and so that we can figure out innovative solutions on how to invest and build wealth, not just for us, but for our future generations. So without further ado, I want to just join me in welcoming our panelists. And we're going to have our first panelists speak for about 7 minutes. So Dolakwa, are you ready for me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
All right, we can hear you and we can see you. Beautiful. All right, there you go.
Okay, thank you so much for your introduction. It's really nice to be part of this panel. It's also really nice to be amongst other property investors and developers who are all over the world. And it's really, you guys have done a great job in terms of bringing this diverse sort of perspectives to real estate, because as you can appreciate, real estate does, you can approach it from different angles. So my focus today is more around strategy, because we're gonna listen to different people talk about different areas and different regions. But the most important thing is that you understand your strategy from the onset. From the onset, as long as you know what it is that you're doing, then it really will go a long way in helping you define what your property investing journey looks like eventually. And that journey is, it's peaks and troughs. It's a point where, there will be highs, there'll be lows, but just understanding exactly what it is that you are doing at any stage in your investing lifestyle. So we only have 7 minutes, so I need to get through the content quite quickly. So the first thing that I wanted us to think about in terms of strategy is thinking about your risk appetite. So it's very important that you understand the risk, the level of risk that you can take when it comes to property investing. And as we know, risk is a direct relationship between risk and reward. So for the lower risk strategies, which is simple things like buy a property, hold it, and just earn from the rental income, then you expect that the yields are relatively low. In the UK, where I invest in, we're looking anywhere from 5 to 7% rental income yields on a property that you buy with a mortgage. Okay, so there's different things we have to consider as far as how are you funding the project, or how are you funding your property purchase or your property investing. You want to think about, are you going to fund it in cash? I'm not a believer as an investor that you should be using cash. I think leverage, especially in the Western world where leverage is at 2, 3, even 4%, it's a great opportunity to really maximize the rental and the overall return on your investment. But you have to know how to use leverage. So I'd say rather than not invest, of course, if you're really risk averse, then you can go with the cash option. You buy the property in cash if you can afford to do that. But honestly, as long as you can manage the payments on your mortgage, then it makes very good financial sense to get a good low interest mortgage that your property is literally funding. And if you do it properly, what can happen in a situation where you buy property for, say, 25 years, that's the length of the mortgage. In that 25 years, you can have your tenants pay down that mortgage to the point where you actually own the property at the end. So where we talk about the conversation about, do I use all of the cash I have to buy one property or do I split it? That's where that conversation comes, where it's like, look, if you bought 2 or 3 properties with the same amount, all leveraged, and you can leverage at 75%. And by leverage, I mean getting a mortgage, you can leverage at 50%. It's all down to your risk appetite. Then the next one is also understanding your, sorry, I'm needing to read, but my eyesight is not great. Is understanding your capital. So we talked slightly about leverage and capital. And capital really is about low capital versus high capital. Some people here will have high capital, will look to invest, and you can maximize that amount by locking it in a good income generating property. Other people may have low incomes, and this is where we talk about strategy and being creative. Because if you don't have a high startup capital, it doesn't mean you can't get started in property. There are people I work with all the time that they may come in with having maybe just £5,000, but then there are different strategies that allow you to leverage even that amount. So they won't be you directly owning an asset, but things like control. I have the Venn diagram where I have the control strategy, where it's more around you taking rental, where you rent a property with the idea that you can rent that property and earn income on the other side of renting out. So you're sort of subletting that property to somebody else. So there are different type of strategies there where you can invest in real estate, but you don't actually have to have a ton of money. Or you can joint venture with people who have the capital resources and come up with some kind of arrangement where you are bringing the sweat equity, you're bringing all of the knowledge, the sourcing, finding the right properties, and then they are coming as your joint partners to buy the property, and then you can decide how you want to split that. So then, if you don't have that startup capital, and it's all about creativity, and within joint ventures, there are all sorts of arrangements you can make between yourself and somebody else. Obviously, very, very much you have to understand exactly what you're getting into, and that's a different topic altogether. But it's just to let you know that it's not completely out of not out of reach just because you personally don't have the startup capital. Then the next thing is really thinking about the time duration for which you're investing. Some people are looking in the long term. You have a full-time job. You don't want to quit your job. You love your job. But you should be investing in property, because we've all seen stock market, crypto, all of those things. Yes, they have great returns, but they're also incredibly volatile, as you've seen in the market. So, but one thing about property is that, I'm putting together a newsletter, and when I was thinking about it, I thought it's true. You literally have to have the entire economy crashing down before you can start to see the impact ripple into real estate. So real estate is one of the last frontiers. So if you invest in real estate, then you know that if you have a long-term horizon, you'll go through the peaks and the troughs, but you will come out on the other side. And the people that made a lot of money, when I got involved in property investing in 2008, was in the worst financial crisis we had at the time. And there are some people that's when they actually doubled down and bought more assets in that time, and their portfolio had just completely skyrocketed in terms of the amount of returns and the overall capital appreciation they've been able to achieve. So just understand that real estate is a powerful tool for parking funds, but it's also a manipulative tool in that you can leverage it. You can have a property, take on a loan against that property, and then use that to buy more real estate. So it's such a versatile tool that when you first get involved in property investing and you don't really understand all the myriad of opportunities that it presents, you can think it's just about you buying a property and you selling a property, you flipping, or you buying and holding. Actually, there's so many different strategies within real estate where you can really build an income or build long-term. So we talk about short-term real estate investing versus long-term real estate investing, where you're looking at short-term, which is getting you into a situation where you have income generated from the portfolio, but then long-term, where you're looking at the capital growth. So when I think about the properties that I bought in 2008, 2009, those properties have really gone up in value in the time I've held them. So that's one strategy in itself, which is just a buy and hold strategy. But guess what? In that time, I've leveraged those properties and taken out cash, refinanced those properties so I can buy more real estate. And that's the power of real estate, is that over time you can really start to see the benefits. And that's why I can say I have a multi-million pound property portfolio, because over time it just starts to cascade. So for those of you that are looking to invest in property, there's never a time that's bad. We talk about real estate, what's going on in the market, the economy, inflation, and all of that. But actually, as long as you buy the right property, you can ride and you get the right product in terms of the right mortgage product, then you can ride most of the storm. And as long as your rental is coming in, and as long as you ride the sort of the downturn, once the market starts to bounce back, it usually goes even beyond the previous high. So it's just a constant upward curve with real estate. So this is why I'm such a strong believer in it as an investment tool. And then the final one, as I wrap up, is really about how active and how passive you are. A lot of you, maybe if you have jobs, you can't dedicate the amount of time that's required. But if you can work with someone who does and outsource some of those activities. But some of you that don't have the income or don't have the capital can then sort of leverage the skills that you have, which is you can become an active investor. And of course, there's some people that have both. They have both the capital and they can be active, in which case the sky is really the limit. So if you want to find out a bit more, you can check out Debunking the Property Investing Myths. I put that together just because there's so many different things that trip people up and hold people back from investing, but really they can be overcome. So if you download, the link is on the screen, you should be able to download that. And if you want to speak to me about property investing in the UK, then we can have a conversation about where you are and the ideal strategy that works for you. So without going beyond the time, thank you so much for having me on this call.
Thank you. Wow, you did so great. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing insights. And thank you for sticking to time and sharing such amazing insights and encouraging us about, the what is possible. I hope everybody's getting encouraged, and I want to encourage you as we transition to our next panelist. Capture your questions. What questions are coming to mind for you? If you're not in the UK, you're thinking of investing, what questions do you have for Dolakbo now free of charge? If you are in the UK, what questions do you have for her free of charge? So let's capture those, put it in chat. Our team will capture them. Next, I have, and thank you again, Dolakbo. We'll have you on again in a bit. Next, we have Kenneth. Kenneth, are you ready for me?
Yes, I am.
Beautiful. All right, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Kemi. So my name is Kenneth Masika. I'm currently the chairman for the REIT Association. I think Dee has spoken actually very well about how to get into property. So what I'll perhaps talk about is something that is new and innovative that's happening in Kenya. I think for those of you out in the US and the UK, I think real estate investment trusts are a well-known investment tool. So if we can jump on to the next slide, Kemi, please. Okay, so I'm chairman of the REIT Association of Kenya. So REITs started being formed in Kenya in 2015 when the Capital Markets Authority passed the regulations. So we felt that as property players, there was a need to have an industry-based association, largely to promote and grow the REIT industry in Kenya, and more so establish a framework for development of the industry, an environment to enable more investments into high quality estates. We have several membership categories ranging from corporates, government agencies, associations, academic institutions, and individuals. The main role for the REIT Association of Kenya is lobbying for favorable policies. We undertake also market education. As you're aware, I think in Africa, with the exception of South Africa, where REITs are rather well developed, Kenya is a nascent market in REITs. And I think the other ones is Nigeria, and I think Ghana are planning to have one. So market education is critical. Everybody understands property, but perhaps not how to securitize it and capture an envelope of a REIT. We also do publish research and industry information. Again, just going to speak about the advantages of a REIT structure for holding property. And finally, we are developing a REIT toolkit and an incubator. As I said earlier, REITs are a nascent investment sort of option or product. So we felt as the association, we need to have a toolkit that will guide potential REIT issuers into the steps that they need to have affiliations with a REIT out in the US. We work very closely with the Kenya Property Developers Association, which is a lobby group in Kenya for property developers. Work with the University of Nairobi on publishing research and industry information. Transparency International Kenya, I think they're all over the world, so they're well known their role. And Africa Union for Housing Finance. So those are just a few of the affiliations that we have. And then the next slide now we'll just talk about REITs. REITs are incorporated in different structures in different territories, but in Kenya they tend to be structured as trusts. So Kemi, if we can go to the next slide, please.
Can you see? I just transitioned over. Can you see it now?
Not yet. I think just this.
I think your internet might be a little bit shaky.
Okay, so
okay.
I think so. Yeah. When the part of the country where these things are a bit wobbly sometimes.
I know we love technology, huh?
So I think this is the definition of the structure of a REIT. So you have a REIT in correct, which is normally as a trust. So you've got the unit holders at the top. They hold units of income from the real estate, at the bottom. And in Kenya, we have two types of REITs. We have an income REIT and a development REIT. Income, basically you buy income generating properties that's already leased, and you distribute the income. Development REIT, as by the name, is a REIT that does the development, and either once the development is completed, flips it into an income REIT, or you sell the product and exit out of the structure and distribute the profits. So you've got a development manager if it's a development REIT, and a property manager who run the functions of running the REIT. On the right-hand side, you've got a trustee. The trustee actually holds the assets on behalf of the unit holders, and they are there purely to protect the interests of the unit holders, and they're paid a trustee fees. You then have a REIT manager on the left-hand side who now does the day-to-day managing of the properties and earns a management fee. So now, why would somebody get into a REIT? Basically, a REIT enables access to properties that as an individual you'd not be able to buy. And here we're talking about large real estate, malls, commercial office blocks, light to that. There is transparency in a REIT. As you can see, it is regulated, that there are several stakeholders and players that ensure that the products or the properties that are put into the REIT are of a certain caliber. So you don't have to do the sort of homework that you have to do when you're buying as an individual. The of REITs is they're tax exempt. So any income that you earn from the properties, it must distribute a significant amount of that income to the unit holders. It also provides easy access. In a large part of the world, REITs are listed. So I think we've all seen the headaches sometimes that come with acquiring an asset and going through the legal steps that you need to go through to acquire the property. And likewise, when you come to sell, right, that does take a bit of time. With REITs, you trade it like any other stock and shares. So you can put in as much as you want, as little entire portfolio. So it gives that easy entry and access, and really goes to cure the large issue around liquidity of properties. Again, if you invest in a REIT that has bought assets in various sectors, and here we're talking about commercial, retail, hospitality, then you also get diversification of your portfolio, because then now you are investing in an entity that has bought into all these different sectors. So you diversify your risk as well. And finally, it is regulated. I think we've all, regardless of which country you're in, you tend to find there are unscrupulous people in property. So you really do need to be careful in the documentation that you go through. So here you find a situation where all the due diligence and background work has been done. So when you're buying into the shares, you're buying into a good property. So I think I'll stop there. Maybe to speak to what Dee was talking about in terms of returns. How do you get your returns? REITs, you get a rental yield from the rental income that's coming out of the properties, but then also properties accumulate their value over time, which is called a capital yield. So you get a combination of the two. So I think I will stop there and wait for questions. So it's a pleasure to be here and to join all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. Thank you so much. And thank you for weathering the technology storm with us here. Hope, everyone could capture, a lot of what was being shared, a lot of great insight, especially, and what I really love about this Ari, at the REITs, I called it REIT prior to, but now REITs. Now I'm getting smarter. with REITs is just the fact that you can come in, the bar to entry is pretty low, right? So again, we're gonna kind of delve into it a little bit more so that we can even understand even better as we get into the Q&As. Next, I believe we have Timmy. So Timmy, are you ready for me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. All right, over to you. So Timmy is from Nigeria, so he's gonna give us insights on that part of the world. Go ahead.
Hey. Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hello.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Awesome. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, good day, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm very elated to be here. My name is Timmy Ajayi. I'm a property broker and an investment advisor. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. So I was basically going to be talking about, investing in Nigeria and what to do and what not to do. I would say that, real estate investment, as we all know, it is very good. It's a no-brainer, right? But just that there are certain strategies to use so that you don't get it wrong when investing in real estate. And being in a community like this, community of women, I am always super, super pumped to do this because I, for one, I am a first-hand beneficiary of women investing in real estate. I remember back when I was in university, Covenant University, based on the nature of my father's job, is a civil engineer. There are times where they are cash strapped and they are locked into projects. I remember at some point it was my mother's investment in real estate that came through for us, paying tuitions and all those things. So I am usually fulfilled when people invest in real estate, but when women invest in real estate, I get double fulfillment, if I'll put it that way. So I'm super pumped to be here. So let's go right into it. Real estate, demystified, to invest or not to invest. There are certain metrics that we should look at then to arrive at the decision of whether to invest or not to invest. Like taking at it from the global perspective, right? The demand for real estate globally has increased in the past 2 years, and then it's projected to continue to rise steadily over the next few years, right? And looking at Africa, Africa is next, is the world next frontier market. Then we focus on Nigeria. You will see that the capacity of Nigerian market is huge. For example, the Nigerian market receives over $4.5 billion in investment going to real estate sector alone. And then that's nothing compared to the capacity of the market to take about $620 billion in investments. That is to house one of the fastest growing populations in the world, right? And that to look at emerging markets like Africa and Nigeria in particular. So, for example, there's a projection that Nigeria by 2032 will be approaching about 500 million in population, right? That is a huge number, and that those people would need somewhere to stay. They will need accommodation. They will need where to work. They will need offices. They will need where to shop. They will need where to play. That's recreational real estate. And with that is already passing a message that there's huge demand coming for real estate already. With 500 million population, it means Lagos alone 44 million people. Lagos right now is argued to be around 15 to 20 million people. By that time, that means Lagos is doubling in population. And what this equates to is that there's going to be huge demand for real estate across board, across all types of real estate. And then who are the people that are going to benefit from this increasing demand for real estate? It's those people that have positioned themselves ahead of time. People who have invested ahead. There's this saying that the only wrong time to invest in real estate is later. So it's usually good to position yourself ahead so you can benefit of the coming demand for real estate. I was going to talk about the fact that real estate in Nigeria has shown resilience over other sectors in the economy. Real estate is contributing a very big percentage to the Nigerian GDP, and that is why a lot of people are plugging into the real estate space massively. Both Nigerians in Nigeria, Nigerians in diaspora, even foreign investors. And this is one of the reasons why it makes the real estate market in Nigeria very interesting. For example, there is a report that says that the real estate investing in Nigeria as at first quarter of 2022, 70% of the investment coming into Nigerian real estate was by Nigerians in diaspora. That's a huge number. And that is why a lot of Nigerians in diaspora really need to look at how to plug into the Nigerian real estate space, because the profit is massive, right? The next thing I was going to talk about is the challenges, right? A lot of people know that, yeah, it's good to invest in real estate in Nigeria, but the challenges are the things that we can't look away from. There's a trust factor, in the sense that there are a lot of people that have tried to invest in real estate in Nigeria, and they've been swindled, they've been burnt in different ways or the other. And the sad part to that is that a lot of them, where people even try to invest through maybe a family member or a friend, and they've been swindled. So because of that, a lot of them have shied away from investing in real estate in Nigeria generally. Now, what people have now since recognized is that it's better to work with a trusted real estate broker or real estate company. With that, you are sure what you're investing in. You are working with trusted people. What you see is what you get. And that is what people have then approached or adopted over the years, right? For example, I'll use myself. We have clients in different countries in the world. We have clients in Canada, London, China, many other countries. And a lot of them have invested in Nigeria. Even a lot of them have not been in Nigeria in a long time. But because they've gotten a trusted investment partner, they are able to invest seamlessly. They even get their documents in the countries where they reside in. So the important thing is finding a trusted broker and finding a trusted real estate company that you can work with. And a lot of them get their rental returns for people who buy rental apartments. A lot of them that buy that have bought land, they are getting reports on the capital acquisition on their land, right? So it is just important to work with trusted people, work with a trusted broker, work with a trusted real estate company, so that your mind is at rest. The next thing I will talk about now is knowing that there is potential, there's a lot of potential in the real estate sector in Nigeria. You have to now know how to plug in. You can go to the next slide now. But now knowing how to plug in is what is important, because it's all about strategy. It's good to invest, but knowing what strategy to use when investing is what is important. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you see it now?
Can you move to the second slide?
Yeah, I'm on the second slide right now.
Okay, good. I'll just continue if you can move the slide. So on the second slide, I listed 5 different ways to plug into the real estate space in Nigeria. And those are the very critical strategies that you can use, no matter how much you have, and then your investment goals. So number 1 of that is buying land in nascent locations. So nascent locations are emerging locations in Nigeria. A lot of them are in Lagos, where the development is just approaching in those locations, and it is now relatively affordable to invest in those locations. So if you buy land in nascent locations, development is moving in that direction. So when development now hits those places, you are already positioned ahead to benefit from that development, in the sense that you are getting capital appreciation on your property and all of that. And even land alone is one of the best ways to plug into real estate in Nigeria and anywhere in the world, because anything real estate is based off land. If you want to build an hotel, you are buying land first. If you want to build a school, you are buying land first. If you want to build residential, you are buying land first. So whoever owns the land really is in control, is going to benefit from development either ways. The second thing is, investing in rental apartments. Rental apartments in the right locations with the right documents will always be in demand. With the location, with the demand for real estate right now, and then the projected demand based on population growth, if you own rental apartments in the right locations, you will always be making money, and your property will always continue to add value in terms of the capital value of the property. So owning rental apartments in the right locations is one of the best things that you can do after buying land, of course, right? And then the next thing is buying off plan. A lot of people want to invest in real estate in Nigeria, but there's that issue, the fact that it's expensive. Now, what can you do? You want to buy an apartment, for example, you're looking at the current value is probably beyond what you can afford. So buying off land basically is you buying into an ongoing project or ongoing development where at that time you are buying below the market prices and you're able to also enjoy flexibility in your payment. So you are able to pay over some months and while the property is being built, right? So the important thing is there are strategies to that, knowing the right locations to buy. There's the place of due diligence, because that's one of the reasons where people get burnt or get swindled of their money. So for example, for myself, a lot of our clients are not in Nigeria, so we are their eyes here. So we do that due diligence for them, making sure that we do diligence both on the project and the developer. So we make sure that this project is right to invest in, and then they're able to enjoy flexibility in payments, right? Then they spread their payments over time. Then upon completion, they're able to get capital returns. And some people even just buy to flip. They buy and then resell immediately the project is completed, and they enjoy good profit. The next thing is co-investing. A lot of people have said, how much do I have? But the next thing we always say is that there's power in numbers. For example, there's EPR, it's a community of a lot of women, right? Fantastic women. And the fact that we can come together to do even a webinar like this means we can come together to invest in properties. So instead of waiting till when you can afford that property alone, you can come together with people of like minds, invest in good property, buy land together, buy rental apartments together, and we enjoy the profits together, right? So it's one of the things that we do. For example, when I'm in a community like this, I promote that a lot. People co-investing or collectively owning property, and then they also get to benefit from the returns from those properties, right? And the last thing is apartment lease. This is the way where you invest in rental apartments, and then you get ownership rights for a specific number of years, and then you get to enjoy rental income from those properties for a specific number of years as the landlord. So with that, it is cheaper for you to get into getting rental income, and then you are getting rental income for a specific number of years. So there's other ways to plug in, but these 5 options are very sure to help you, especially based on your investment goals right now, especially land. I like to place emphasis on land because land is a way to even edge yourself against inflation if you are investing in a country like Nigeria. So, and you can even see from the Bible how God himself even places the importance of land. You can see in Genesis, I think 35 verse 12, when it talks about this land which I give to Abraham, I'm giving it to Isaac, and even going to giving it to generations after you. So it goes on to even talk about how transgenerational land investment is. So if you're buying land in emerging economies or locations like Nigeria, you can't go wrong. The only thing is do your due diligence, make sure that you're buying the right land in the right locations with the right titles. A lot of this land I'm talking about, we have land, for example, in my company, we have land ranging from $300,000 to even $5,000. And a lot of these projects, you can start owning land with a down payment of about $1,000 or less, right? So this will work a lot for Nigerians in diaspora who want to invest back home and make sure that they own something back home. And it's one of the best ways to plug in. So I think I can I can end there, and just it's basically dependent on your investment goal. So I always like to talk to people and know what their investment goal is, so that we can advise them on which of these options is best to go for at that time, right? But land, I recommend land. So thank you very much.
Beautiful.
It's been a huge pleasure doing this. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. I could feel the passion. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for pouring into us those great ideas. I hope everyone is capturing notes. You said something, and thank you for touching on the trust issue, right? I've talked to people who have said, I don't want to invest in Nigeria. You know, people are not trustworthy. Who do I trust? You know, I can't guarantee that my land will be there. People have taken, but this is just good insight to say, hey, there are companies out there that will help you and do it professionally to help you make, and it's no strings attached, no family, no friends and all that, for you to get what you need to get done. Thank you so much for pouring into us. We will get back to you. I'm sure you have more in your heart to share, but ladies, please capture your questions, put your questions in chat as we hear our last but not the least important speaker, Titilola Aoyemi, who will be talking, who will be giving us insight into real estate investing in the US, to invest or not to invest. Over to you, Titilola.
Oh my God. So much information has been shared. I am very excited to be here and to invest or not to invest. Is it the right time? Of course, I know that there is a lot of emotions, you know, going on right now. The market disruption, inflation rate is going high. People are just wondering, am I ever gonna be able to own my own, you know, American dream, which is buying your own home? So to answer this question, yes or no to real estate investing, I would say all of this emotional fear or whatever is going on in the economy should not really be an indicator of when to buy or when not to buy. What your indicator should be is, at the point of entry, am I coming in from day one making a profit? As an investor, your goal is to come into any investment at all. I'll tell you the three principal things you should look for, but from day one, make sure you are entering at the point where you are buying below the market value and you're making profit from day one. So, is it right to invest right now? The three things that will help you to figure that out: do a lot of research, but the three things you want to really ask yourself is this the right time? And to answer that question will be, one, we are all going into investment or investing to be financially free. We're working day by day towards financial freedom, right? So your investment, a good investment, should be able to answer the question about cash flow. Do you have the cash flow? Do you have the growth? Is your money or your wealth, is it increasing? You know, that's when you talk about the rule of 72. How long does it take to actually double the money you invested? And thirdly, is there security? Is this money secured? Can I fall back on this, you know, at my old age? So real estate honestly answer all those questions perfectly. Is one of the real estate investing is one of the instruments or vehicle of investment that really answer all three. And you know, we can go one by one. Cash flow, it gives you passive income. You have to decide, am I doing this for the short term or the long term? But if you're looking to do it for the short term, there are vehicles you should go into. If you're looking for the long term, there are vehicles you should go into. But cash flow is a passive income. Any investment that gives you that passive income, that gives you the peace of mind, you know, it's a very good investment. Also, growth. Is your money increasing? How long will it take your money to double? Rule of 72. Are you building equity? The third thing will be security. Is this investment so volatile that I could lose all my capital? Do I have security? I know when it comes to real estate investing, a lot of people use it for a long-term retirement plan, you know, and moreover, real estate, you know, market returns, you know, always, you know, is higher than the rate of inflation. So that kind of gives you the growth you're looking for and the security as well. Security and controls come, you need to be able to have a level of control. If you invest in stock, you have zero control because you could wake up today a millionaire and tomorrow as broke as anything. But real estate, you know that your investment is going to be there. It's protected by insurance company. In the case of fire or, any natural disaster, they will give you the money cash. I've had instances where, a lightning burned down people's houses and they end up having the cash for the house and also having the house itself. So real estate is a very good vehicle to really put your resources in. And I was going to talk about the tax benefit. If you look at the tax benefit, the tax benefit on real estate investments is actually lower than the ordinary income tax. So you have a big edge when it comes to tax benefit. And also when you're looking at in the same line with the tax benefit, when you're looking at what you can write off as a business owner, if you invest in real estate, you have all the write-offs, just like you have when you are a business owner. You can write off as much as you want. I mean, not as much as you want, but you have reasons to do a lot of write-off, whereby keeping more money in your pocket, giving you that flexibility to go and buy more, giving you that flexibility to reinvest your money. And finally, capital gain. We all know that over years, real estate has always increased. Of course, there are times where the markets went down, but if you wait it out, it's always going to bounce back. So the capital gain, pretty much there is a product or a vehicle they call the 1031 exchange. You will invest your money and you will never pay tax forever as long as you keep your money in that vehicle. That means you bought this house, and when you sell the house plus your gain, even if you're like in the last 2 years, we've seen over 200% increase, in equity. People bought their homes for 200, now they are selling for 500. Is that amazing, right? And you can keep all those 300,000 in gain by using a vehicle called the 1031. And all you need is just buy more houses, and before you know it, you are increasing your portfolio. I'm going to go to the next slide. All right. So we're talking about strategies to get in here in United States. I know one of our speakers talks about REITs, and the other one I'm going to add to that, which is similar to that, will be the crowdfunding. Those two are you going into like a group, or you're partnering with other people with little money into it and less responsibility. When you are going in a group like crowdfunding, just make sure you're partnering with investors that are savvy, because you could get into the wrong one. There is a lot of distraction out there. I'm not gonna leave, we can't overemphasize that. Be careful, and be careful. And investing in REITs is also very good. Make sure you look up the company, make sure they are legit and all that. But to emphasize the low entry, and please keep me in check with the time. It's
you have about 1.5 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. I'm still okay. Thank you. Low entry, you could go in solo. You could, buy a single house, buy a duplex, buy a 4-unit and live for free, and also have income, coming in for you. How do you find these properties? How do you buy below? Because the goal is, even when you are buying today or tomorrow, but the worst mistake anyone can do is just put it away forever and say later. just like one of our speakers said, nothing will happen. If you never move, nothing will happen. But do your due diligence. There are low entry points. Real estates allow for more leverage than other investment vehicle. So you can leverage your credit, you can leverage mortgages, you can leverage HELOCs. People use HELOCs to buy houses all the time. They use HELOC to do their down payments. You can leverage a whole lot of business line of credit, portfolio in loans or private money and all of that. And then, just because I'm rounding up real quick, how do you find those things? You can, quick one, tax lien, foreclosure, buying other people's debts, looking in areas where you think maybe the owner is out of state. You can look in county have properties that they want to sell. They don't want to keep properties. Banks, county, and all these big organizations, they want to get rid of the properties they have. They don't intend, because they're not property manager. So don't be afraid. If you see anything, don't be afraid to talk to the bank, the county representative, foreclosure agent. Some of them goes through the law firm, and look for sale by owners. Just make sure at the point of entry, to answer your question whether to invest now or not, is, are you making profit from day one? And finally, know your exit strategy. Do I want to be in this for a short period or for a long haul? Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Titilola. Thank you so much for sharing, for pointing to us. I know there is so much, more in you, and I hope everybody was capturing everything. And as you were talking about, the various options, and I'm like, oh my God, this could be very complicated and overwhelming. But you said something, simple question to ask yourself. Am I making money? Am I going in with profit? Am I going in, with some kind of profit, right? Am I going to be making money when I go in? And if I am, right, possibly that's a good strategy for me, and so it's almost like this is all about demystifying what might seem totally complicated. The good news right now, so thank you. And right now we're going to transition briefly into the Q&A segment. So I'll just talk about what to expect, and we have a lot of questions. So my amazing panelists, beware, there are lots of questions already. So, which is great. So thank you to our amazing audience. So the way we're going to do this is, the good news is that some of these questions are directed specifically to particular panelists. So I'm going to read them. We're gonna stop sharing. If you can just have all our panelists spotlighted so that we can have like a true panel view here. And just have a conversation. While you're doing this, if you've not captured your questions in chat, please put it in chat. And then for the rest of us, if you need to, just grab something to drink or something. If you need to grab water, hopefully it's by your side. Let's do that. But we're gonna go into the Q&As right now. Okay. I think we have all our speakers. All right, good. So we're making good time, so I'm excited about that. So again, thank you very much. We have already learned so much, even if we don't do this. The first question goes to Dolapo. It reads, Dolapo shared something about the right mortgage product. And I believe a couple of us, probably Timmy, also mentioned finding the right mortgage product or right land. What is that exactly? What does that look like? Like, how do I know? I'm not an expert, but how do I know? There's so many options, but, how do I know what that looks like? And can you give us a specific example?
Okay, great. I love that question. Can you see me? Sorry.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's frozen. So. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Really? We can hear you.
It's fine. Yeah, good. So I love that question because it's actually very pertinent, especially in a rising interest market. So when I talk about the right mortgage product, there are different types of products. There's products which is where you have interest only, or you have a capital and repayment. So you're paying the capital and the interest of that property. So a lot of times when you're investing, it's really a personal choice. And this is why I went through the whole thing about your risk appetite and all of that, is because sometimes you might sacrifice your monthly income by saying, you know what, I want to pay the capital and the interest off, depending on the value of the property. It tends to work for lower value properties. And then what that means is you'll buy the property, you'll take a product that's a capital and interest repayment. So you're paying the original loan down. You're not just paying off the interest. And what that means is your tenants over time. So imagine if you were paying, if that meant that your mortgage was then maybe $700 or £700, whatever, and your rent is about £1,000. It means that over time, your tenants are actually paying off your mortgage. Okay. It means that by the end of 25 years, you now own that property free and clear, and all of the income therefore. Now, a lot of us investors, because we're trying to leverage and we're trying to sort of maximize our income, maximize everything, a lot of it, and this is where we talk about risk, we will invest interest only. So especially also for higher value properties. It's not because I don't necessarily want to pay them off. It's because by the time you look at the financials, it doesn't really make sense because you're too close to your rental payment. So one thing that will get you through, and listen to this, if it's going to get you through any downturn, is that there has to be a good disparity between the amount that you're paying in your mortgage and the amount that you're getting as rent. That is what is going to get you through the difficult period. Even if you go into negative equity, whatever happens, as long as the rent covers the mortgage and there's enough there to sustain you, even if interest rates are going up, you will get through that bad time and you come out on the other side. So that's one. The other thing too is to be clear that when you're getting a product that you lock in, especially in this high interest, sort of increasing interest environment we're in, you lock in a mortgage product where, and make sure you're always speaking to your advisors, because I'm not authorized to give advice, but at least from my experience, I can tell you that if you buy, if you make sure that the interest, the mortgage product that you get is locked in right now, you will at least know that for the next 3 to 5 years, the way we do it in the UK, we don't, I think in the US, they have like 30-year fixed. If you fix it for the next 3 to 5 years, you know, at least that mortgage payment is fixed. You know your margins are going to be over that period, as opposed to if you've got a variable rate where it would just, as interest rates are going up, it's literally going up. The sky's the limit. You just don't know at what point you're now going to exceed your rental payments. And that's when you get into difficulty as an investor. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Hopefully that answered the question. I believe it did, and more. You know, I learned something new. It seems like the mortgage market, the financial market is a little bit different, where mortgage rates are more variable in the UK compared to options that we have in the US. Very interesting. I had no idea. We learn every day, right? Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to go quickly to the next question. All right. So it reads, this question is for Kenneth. What is the current situation of REITs in Kenya in terms of performance and the outlook of investment instruments? This is from Lian.
Okay, thank you. So like I said earlier, the REITs started coming into formation in 2015. So we only had one REIT in the last 2015, so around 7 years. So it took some time, I think, just getting around the understanding and getting the market awareness and knowledge of how REITs perform. But now we're starting to see a lot more players come in. So initially we had Fahari Income REIT in the beginning for the first 5 years. Last year and this year, we had 2 new REITs come into the market. This is Acorn Development and Acorn Income REIT. They are specialist student housing accommodation REITs. So the development REIT develops the asset and then flips it into the income REIT. In the next 2 years, we are anticipating a total of 4 new REITs. So as you can see, it's a growing investment vehicle. In terms of performance, obviously, it has been a little bit checkered. All the REITs have actually been paying dividends every year because by law, they need to distribute at least 80% of their profits to maintain their their tax exemption status. So they've been doing that on a regular basis. The only challenge obviously has been when you look at the net asset value of the REIT, and by net asset value, it is basically the total value of the asset minus any borrowing gives you your net asset value. You'll find there's a disparity between now the listed REIT, what it is trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and what the NAV is. And that has been a reason of concern. But we at the association feel it is more an issue of understanding and getting that knowledge message going out, rather than the fact that the REIT itself as a vehicle doesn't perform. So I think now that we've got 2 other REITs in the market, we're getting another 3, we should have 5-7 REITs to be benchmarking against each other. So it's in short, it's growing, it's performing well, and the future looks very bright. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Lena, hope that answers your question. And thank you so much, Kenneth. All right. So next question. Wow, lots of questions here. This goes for the Nigerian property market. Timmy, you have majorly focused on the land and residential sectors for investment. What about the other real investment sectors? Does it mean that they aren't suitable for investment? Can you please clarify? This is also from Lena. I want to go off mute.
Okay, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, a minute. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Okay, I think that question is from Lina, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in that regard, right, there are certain segments of the real estate sector that have shown particular performance over the other segments of the real estate sector. And one of those sectors or one of these segments is residential real estate and land investment, right? So when we are advising people, when I'm particularly advising people to invest in Nigeria, I first advise the ones that give them the highest yield, all right? And then looking at the current trends, for example, there are other parts of the market that are also performing. When you look at commercial, look at particular parts of the commercial market, like retail, right, warehousing. So for example, this is not the best time to invest in office spaces, right? Because of the current trends, what the pandemic has shown us, there's now a lot of hybrid working systems where a lot of teams are working from home, or they are doing a mix of that. And that has resulted into a lot of vacancy ratio in existing office buildings. So because a lot of teams are now seeing that they can achieve the same result working from home, so a lot of office spaces are vacant. So if you go ahead now to invest in an office space, it is not the best decision, right? But then if you go ahead to invest in a retail space, because people will always have to shop, they will always have to buy stuff. So it's a good investment. So if you're looking away from residential or investing in land, you can look at retail. The next thing is warehousing. So because of the changes in lifestyle, a lot of people are moving towards e-commerce, they're shopping online. Because of that, there's a lot of demand now for warehousing, because all those goods have to be stored somewhere before someone orders them and then they are delivered. So because of that, there's a lot of demand also for warehousing. So that segment is very, very much untapped, but there are a lot of people that are benefiting from that. So there are other segments to that market that are performing well. But for a starter in the Nigerian space, I always advise land, because land is a very, very good edge against inflation. We know that the inflationary issues in Africa especially is a big headache for people. So if you're investing in land, for example, you are edged against inflation. If you are investing in residential real estate, you are edged against inflation. So those other segments of the market, of course, you can look at them, but then we need to look at some critical metrics before we say, now go ahead and invest in this, because a lot of our investment advices are data driven. So we work with a lot of data, and so when we are giving you an advice, we are not just giving you an advice, we are giving you an advice based on our experience in the market and then the data that we have gathered based on the fact that we work in that space. So yes, there are other segments of real estate market in Nigeria that are working very well aside land and residential. But then there are things that we need to look at your investment goals, how much you are looking to invest. For example, if you are investing in warehousing today, it is more capital intensive than investing in land. Then it's now the question of how much you are looking to invest at the time. So we can tell, okay, now because of what you have, you can invest in warehousing. Because of what you have, you can invest in retail. Because of what you have, you can invest in land. Because of what you have, you can buy a rental apartment. So those are the different things that we look at. But we always have to maybe jump on a call, have important discussions to get critical details. Then we can give an advice. Yes, I hope I answered your question.
Wow, beautiful. I think you did it justice. It's interesting you said a lot about land and land and land. For those who are, part of the EPR Women's Professional Network, we have something called...
The cities are expanding. So landowners are the ones really, really enjoying now.
Right.
So we have to join and enjoy as well.
Right. It's I'll tell you, Timmy, what you just said is very prophetic, because honestly, in some of we have a special Holy Ghost hour prayer session that we actually have with EPR ladies, and one of the prophetic words that came up over the past several months, and it's come up a lot, has been that God is giving us land. So ladies, I want you to pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm tapping into it, and now that you're saying it, you're like, that's the place to go. I'm like,
I always advise that. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Even the Bible says it talks a lot about land and how transgenerational it is. So,
So perk your ears, lady. Spiritual ears, ladies, if we need to come together and do some stuff, and step out in faith, by the grace of God. Yes, I claim that prophetic land. Yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I claim it for you. I look forward to congratulating you.
Yes, so I receive it in Jesus' name. All right, let's go to the next.
Can I add something to that quickly?
Please.
So I look through, it's so prophetic what you just said, because I look through auction catalogs quite a bit to see, okay, what are the discounted properties coming on? And it's very difficult these days to find discounted properties. But guess what? I saw a lot of land. I just noticed there was a lot of land. And so over the last few months, I said, actually, this is the time, because actually you should be investing in what there is a lot of. So if there's a shortage of flats in the market, then maybe we should need to be. So I started talking to my mentor to say, look, I think we need to start taking a shift, because maybe buying flats is now like last season's strategy. Maybe we need to be looking at land and acquisition of land. So this is amazing to me. And
that is very true. Like there's a report out now that says that land in specific cities in Lagos especially has grown by a minimum of 41% over the last 1 year. 41%. Imagine buying a land just last year, and a year later it was 40% more. It's amazing, really. And the thing is, just few people are plugging in. So as much as possible, I try to talk about it in events like this, so that more people can plug in.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I mean, I am pumped. This is amazing. I mean, I love when this happens. Beautiful. Let's keep going there. So, and I think
one thing I would just like to say that,
all right.
land is the key. And, because I moved from Maryland to Texas, and I know, the development that's taken in the last 5 years. I know what has happened here, but my advice, please, because my 9-to-5 is a loan originator, right? Investment is what I'm coming into, just like every one of us. I'm learning through the course, right? And I've done some, and whenever you're looking at land, some of them, if the community is a planned or a planned community like United States, I believe, it might be even in Nigeria, make sure you work with a professional, because some land are not buildable. They are just there for resorts and, just to let the space breathe, and a lot of things with lands. I found out that when I was looking into some of them. So always work with a professional.
Right.
Don't just assume, what you see is what you get.
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
very true. Very true. But I always emphasize due diligence. So because a lot of times you can't do that due diligence on your own. Work with a trusted broker.
right.
Like you said, when I say land, I always try to emphasize on land with good titles because whatever investment is the title you have on that land. If you buy a land and the title is not good, it's as much as throwing your money away. So I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, I just closed a deal with one of our clients in Chicago. She bought 2 plots earlier this year, and she's coming back to buy more land, right? And this is because when she bought the 2 plots she bought earlier this year, she had not been in Nigeria in many years. She got her property supplement in Chicago. She has seen the development that has happened around the land she bought because we always send updates to her. She's saying now what the property values in that location is. She's seeing the development in that location. So she's motivated to buy more.
Right.
Like it's about working with a trusted person. I have a client where she has bought a couple of properties from me, and when she was looking to buy a car for her parents here in Nigeria, she reached out to me and said to me, I know this is outside your scope as a broker, but please, you will help me with this because I trust you. So this is the kind of car I want to buy for my parents. I'm sending you the money. I saw through buying the car process, even to getting the car to Ekiti State in Nigeria for. So ordinarily it's outside my scope, but if when people trust you, you have to also come to them, right? So those are the things. Work with trusted brokers and make sure that they are doing things the right way, right? It's very, very important.
Right. Thank you so much. And this is very, honestly, I just love this conversation. Thank you so much for chiming in. And that's what we wanted this to be like and to look like. This kind of leads us to, a very important point. To me, you mentioned that, and all of you have mentioned, all of you have mentioned that. Lola, you mentioned that also is, a question from one of our participants here is, how can entities be verified for credibility? So, Timmy, how can we find people like you? I know there are people that are nervous out there about, investing outside of the country, back in Nigeria. I've talked to many people like that. How do you find people like you? Of course, yes, everybody's gonna have your contact information. If you're looking to invest in Nigeria, please go to Timmy, and everything. And he seems like a correct guy. Yeah, right. And otherwise we'll bring him on to EPR. He is a correct guy by the grace of God. But what do we look for? Right? What do we look for in a an entity or an advisor to work with to be able to help invest, since we are not using our family and friends to do this.
So I always say because of a lot of people we work with, a lot of them are outside Nigeria. So we are like their eyes here, right? And one thing that I always say is that there's always a place of track record. Right? What people who have good track record. For example, I'm on this call right now because a member of EPR recommended me, right, to come talk about this topic. And this is because I've helped her buy a property in Nigeria. She bought a property through me in Nigeria. She's also staying in Nigeria. Now she owns a property in Nigeria, and we are managing a property for her. When the property is completed, she's going to be getting rental income as far away as she is, and she has a property here in Nigeria. So work with people who have track record and work with people who people also recommend. Like I'm on this call based on the fact that a member of the community recommended me, right? And it doesn't have to be me really, but just make sure that there's good track record, there's people who people can say, I trust this person, work with them. It's important because that's a lot of reasons why people have shied away from investing in real estate, especially in places like Nigeria. So now people have to go invest in things that they are not sure of, invest in crypto, invest in funny things that they've lost money, when they know that there's an asset class that is as stable as anything. But because of this trust factor, they are shying away from it because if I put my money, how am I sure this and that, right? And again, one of the concerns they have is, if I invest in real estate in Nigeria, who is going to manage it for me? And I'm not there anyways, right? But in our case, we make sure that we do all that. It's not just about buying. We also go, because it's a long-term investment, right? Real estate is long-term. So we are with you every step of the way, managing the property, giving you, giving you reports, giving you up, and letting you know, okay, what's happening part time, and all of that. So you are comfortable with it. Like I said, a lot of our clients have not even been in Nigeria in a long time, right? And I want to always do our things in a way that when they are in the country, when we see, we are always happy to see, because they see what their investment is doing for them in Nigeria. There are people who own properties through us, and then those properties are where they are getting, monies to send to their families. Like I have a couple of times where the income from their rental property in Nigeria is what is going to their parents as upkeep. I have someone who has a younger brother in Nigeria. The rent from their property is what is paying tuition for his younger brother, right? So it's seamless from the buying process to managing, to giving reports, to even getting tenants, and even if it's land, to making sure that your land is secured. We handle all of that. So we take all the worries from you.
Beautiful.
So work with someone that has track record. Speak with people.
Track record.
And then work with communities like EPR. If EPR is telling you to work with this person, you can work with the person. Exactly. There are a lot of people online. If you say you just want to go online and meet people, I'm sorry. I said I can't really sit.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing a lot of insight there. And again, track record, references, right? People that have used those particular services in the past, have had good experiences with them, is one people that you need to trust. And we'll trust God by faith, right, to lead us in the right direction. That's most important, and be led by the Spirit. All right, so let's, in the interest of time, let's move very quickly to let's see. So Lady Jazz says, I've always been interested in REIs, but I've just always found the entry to be rather steep. It seems like a comment, but kind of a comment in a question. Now, what is the entry, when we think about, how low, what the entry point is, like how much do I need to have to, go into real estate? Is it, I think I've heard things like, $5,000 if you come together. What does it take to invest? How much do I need to have as an EPR lady? I don't have a lot of money or whatever, even if I'm going to get a loan, I'm sure I have to put a down payment down. What does that look like? So I will.
Who wants to take that? I don't know.
But I think I want to hear from, I think we probably want to hear from each person. So if you can just quickly give us an idea, like in Nigeria, what does that look like? In the US, what does that look like? Kenya, and then the UK. Let's do it that way.
Okay, I can go first.
Yeah, let's start with Titi Lola, and then so that you can drink some water, Timmy.
I was gonna say Timmy should go, but yes. Real quick, here in the United States, you can start as little as a 3% down with a good credit. 3% of whatever you intend to buy. And I have a real life testimony where somebody end up with like 10 properties or more, just doing the same thing, repeat and rinse and start again. And what does that look like? He bought a property, lived there 6 months, move to the next property. As long as you buy as your primary home, your upfront cost is minimal. But when you are buying as an investment, then we talk about 15%, 20% upfront. But when you're buying to live in there for a period of time, 6 months is the minimum. You could go to a year, you can move to the next property and do the same. And you can also start at an entry level by buying a duplex. You live in one for free, let your rental pay for both of you, because the other duplex is always going to cover, when we talk about ROI, your return on investment, make sure when you're buying that. And you can also look at 4-unit properties where you live in one. As long as it's your primary home, your upfront cost is very minimal. And I know that, we talk about crowdfunding, we talk about REIT, all of that, can take a couple of thousand, 1,000 to 5,000, 10,000, depending on, but just do your research. When you're coming into a group, make sure the track record is there. Make sure you check it out. I'm talking because I'm an investor and I got bonds. But will I do it again? Yes, I will. I'll just do it the right way this time. So
right.
That's
Thank you. Thank you. So you can come in pretty low, again, 3% as long as it's your residential property in the US. Great.
With a good credit. That's how you leverage.
Yeah. Credit is
credit.
king, right? Around here. Yeah, that's very important. So Kenneth, let's go with you next.
Thank you. So I think in Kenya, one of the things you have to look at is obviously what guides property entrance is also location. Location affects value. So you need to see, are you buying in a major city, or are you buying out sort of in a rural setting for farming, the user of the land? And you'll find it will range from as little as $1,000, depending where it is, to as much as a few million. So what do you need to get into it? In Kenya, we normally use something called the Standard Law Society of Kenya transaction template, and that talks about 10% of the cost of the property. You pay that upfront, and 90% within 3 months, and the 3 months is structured to enable you to be able to now raise your financing to acquire it. Obviously, that speaks to purchasing the asset, what we call direct purchase, where you're buying the asset. If now you go into structures like a REIT, the new traded REIT, Fahari, is trading at the equivalent of around 5 US cents, right? So that's what will get you onto that property ladder. If you also come into what we call collective investment vehicles or schemes, this is where people get together, form an association, raise the money, and now go out to purchase property. Then obviously the entry into that will be whatever is set by that organization for members to get onto the platform. So that's what works out here.
Beautiful. So, it could be that, I'm assuming, I think I'm hearing that, things like mortgages and all that is not quite the norm out there. You're really, doing a lot of direct, otherwise you're doing it collectively with a group.
Correct. In Kenya, we've had a big disparity between, if you look at the number of units sold, be it land, be it residential units, affordable housing, middle income, high income. You'll find every year you may have 100,000, 200,000 units sold, but in the country we have 23,000 mortgages, right? So there's a very big disparity there. Then again, we live in a part of the country, a part of the world where we still have a relatively large unbanked population, right? And property tends to be one of the largest investments that a family will make. So you tend to find, and people in Kenya have, depending on who you talk to, I think we all have a fear of loans. It tends to happen in Kenya. So you tend to find people rather start small, buy a cheaper property, ride out the capital appreciation, sell that, jump on to the next, and sort of you grow your investment that way rather than taking mortgages.
Right. I hear you. Beautiful.
Actually, sorry, real quick, if you intend to go the unconventional way, because the one I spoke about is, when you are leveraging mortgages, but if you choose to go like the foreclosure, unconventional way, like tax lien, foreclosure sales, it could be way less than that, like 1,000 or even less.
Right.
That.
So but again, it goes back to work with a professional, because these things can be pretty complicated and could be risky if you don't have the right
out there
knowledge and expertise working alongside with you. So that's very critical. All right, Dolapo, let's do you quick, and then we'll get to Tini, and then we'll go to the next question.
So in the UK, we have different things. It's similar to what I think it was Cecilia had said about where you can buy property with, as your residential, but that the long term. So what I advise is, speak to the broker, make sure that they can give you that the product can be switched. So it's very important, because then you can switch it later on, and you've only had to deposit 5% of the value of the property. Now, the other thing is to talk about location. In the UK, if you wanted to buy in London, where I invest, then you would need a lot of capital. But when I got started, it wasn't as expensive. Now, what people are doing is they're moving further up north towards the north part of the UK, because you can then buy properties at significantly less, which means that you can find a property for about 50K and your deposit will be less. Obviously, you have to also be aware that areas have nuances. So for instance, I bought a church once quite far up north. It was very cheap, but guess what? That area didn't work for flats. So if I was going to convert it, I couldn't convert it to flats because I would only be able to rent it to a certain demographic, which meant the numbers weren't going to work. So you need to know when you're buying on sort of on the lowest end of the market, what exactly you're getting into. Then the final thing is, what we're talking about, sort of collective investment clubs. So you can come together with other people or joint ventures and buy property together. Obviously, if you're starting out, you don't want to go into land, that's really complex. You want to start with flats and the easier type of products within the real estate space that you can turn around quite quickly. So I would say, and the last one, I would say in the UK, we have a special, I don't know if it works in the US or anywhere else, where you can actually work with a landlord or an agency and rent property from them. So you won't own the asset, but you can earn rental income from the asset. So you rent the property and then turn around and rent it out, maybe like an Airbnb or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Here right now, because the return on investment is incredible for that strategy as well. And that you only need about £5,000 to £10,000 to start.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. All right, ladies, I hope your ears are perking up. There are opportunities. It depends on how you want to play. All right, Timmy, for your next, for Nigeria, how much is it going to cost? Could it cost me? How low is the entry point, to enter into the game and to do whatever needs to be done in real estate? I think you're on mute. You're mute. You need to unmute yourself.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, depends on your investment goals. I like to understand what your investment goals are, and then we can tell you which is best to go for at the time. I would like to emphasize on land again, because what lands are doing right now in Nigeria is fantastic. Land in the right location, land in nascent locations. When I say land, nascent locations are emerging locations where development is going to. So if you are buying there, it means you are positioning ahead of the development. And then there's infrastructure going on right now massively in Nigeria. Maybe a lot of them are not in the media, but there's a lot of infrastructural work going on in Nigeria right now. Lagos especially, that's making the values of land go up very well. So invest in the right land at the right site. So looking at the prices, like I said, we have lands ranging from $300,000 to about $5,000. And with this land, some of them you can even start with less than $1,000. So with some of them $700, $800, you can make a down payment and then spread the balance over 6, 12 months or even more, right? And then you are at the end of the day, you are a landlord in Nigeria, right? Without even being there, right? And then there are also a couple of other segments of the market, like student housing. We're currently building a project in a place called Yaba in Lagos. A couple of people who know Lagos probably know Yaba, because that location is strategic for us to build student accommodation, because there are about 4 minimum of 3 tertiary institutions around there. So we're building student accommodations. So it's going to cater for both students and upwardly mobile young professionals.
Right.
With that, for example, people can plug in with about $5,000 to $6,000, and then they are spreading the balance, and then they are getting steady rental income annually, and we manage it for them. They're getting income. They don't have to talk about getting tenants, managing tenants. We do all of that, right?
Wow.
So those are the different segments that you can plug into. They are very high demand locations where you can own rental apartments and you will always get money. So for example, there's a survey that says that in Nigeria right now, an average person will spend a minimum of 90 days to get an apartment, right? If you want to rent an apartment now, you will spend about 90 days on the average. Now, it's not about you not having money. You have your money with you, but the problem is that there's shortage of apartments, right? If you have apartments in the right locations, you are sure to make money, because the demand and the gap between demand like it is extremely large, right? So to about one apartment that is vacant, there are about 10 or 15 people looking to rent. So for example, if you want to rent an apartment now, and then you talk to your broker and it says, hey, there's a place that you can come look at, and you say, I'm busy, I'll probably come by weekend because of my work schedule. By the time you are free on weekend, someone has paid for that apartment because someone has taken time off work to quickly go look at it and pay for it.
Right.
Those are the actual situations in Nigeria, especially in certain cities in Nigeria. So owning locations, owning property in those locations, you are well, positioned to enjoy good returns, both rental returns and capital appreciation on the property. And then, because Nigeria, for example, there's really not that stress of checking your credit rating or credit history. That can make that down payment, and you are sure that you can, make the consistent payments over the months, right? So you're not really checking what's your credit score, credit rating. So you're able to leverage that and then invest in an emerging location like Nigeria. Yeah.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. So ladies, there you have it. What it takes to get in. Now I'm looking at our time. We only have 19 minutes. Look at me thinking we might not even go up to the 2 hours. But let's try to, I'm going to try to tackle a couple of these questions. I know we've touched on co-investing a little bit. So I think maybe one or two of you, if you can just, kind of delve a little bit deeper, and I think there was a question specifically for Titilola around, is there, if I'm a Nigerian, are there opportunities to co-invest here in the US? Like, what are there specific, and yes, we know that there are opportunities, but are there like trustworthy organizations that you would recommend to point us to? We know that they exist, but who do I, one or two organizations that, we know that, okay, go ahead and co-invest. EPR ladies want to come together to do something here in the US.
Okay. So are you talking about people in US or people in Nigeria?
People in US. It says, do you know any co-investing opportunities in the US market? Like a group of trustworthy, like-minded people pulling together their funds to buy, renovate, flip, and repeat the process.
Okay, I'm gonna be very careful in throwing out names, because if I do that, I'm kind of responsible.
Yeah, responsible. Yeah.
So what I can say is, do your research.
Yes.
Check them out online. America is very, you can hide. If you do your due diligence, you will know everything that is to know about that company, and you have people researching companies for you. If you are interested in those companies, look for people that do research on companies to tell you if they are trustworthy, they have the track record, they are making they're generating returns. So throwing out names, I can vouch for myself, but
not anybody else.
And yes, and that's just because I've been in business with sisters, and it didn't work out. Yeah, so I am a little careful about that.
Yeah, and thank you so much, and thank you. And again, I'll say this, to just for everything that we're saying here. I'm sure everybody is, we're all pointing to talk to an expert, right? Research, and there's there's also research. Before I buy anything, my husband always makes fun of me. Like, I'm Googling and looking at reviews online. As there's always something to show, if somebody has been hurt. Most of the time, especially in the US, I know, they will put your information out there. So do your research and everything, and very, very critical. And I'm sure there are options out there, and then you can talk to an expert with regards to, and talk to people that maybe, have done it before to give you advice on what are those points. And we've learned a lot of those pointers here today.
Let me quickly say this. I'm sorry, I know we're looking at the time. This morning, Because, like I said, there are several channels where you can get properties that are out there that they just want to dispose. They just want it to go. Like they don't want to hold on to it. So one of them will be a bankruptcy, sale, and I saw one. And what I did was to call a professional agent. And I'm like, you know what? I'm researching about, I did that this morning before the call. I'm researching about this particular building. Can you tell me what is going on? And you will be my representative. And then she went and told me, you know what? That was sold last year. They didn't just update their records. Wow. So, it's that easy for people to swindle people, so make sure, don't just take it for what it is. Face value, no. It is your money. It is your strength. It is what you work hard for, and make sure you do the right thing. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you. And I think that applies. That's almost like a universal guidance, anyway.
Let me add something there, Kemi.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Okay, so talking about co-investing and collective ownership is one thing that is really gaining traction in Nigeria. And then it's one thing that we have done very well for our clients. Myself, there are a couple of projects or properties that I currently manage that are actually co-owned by a couple of friends. Some of them are even co-owned by strangers. They don't know themselves. The important thing is now how we do our documentation, right? So really, there are people who come together to co-invest in properties, and when those properties are rented, we distribute the rental income to them based on the share of that asset that they own, right? And we do that very well here in Lagos. And for example, because we are doing that, and a lot of people have shown interest in that, we are building a dedicated platform for that. For my company, Prime REIT, we are building a platform called Realty, based on the word realty, real estate. You can check it out. It's called realty.com. I'll probably drop it in the chat. We are currently building that, and then there are people currently joining the wait list. What we are basically doing with that is to allow people from anywhere around the world own real estate in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, and seamlessly, and without having to pay for the entire property. So the goal is to help people get started owning property, a step at a time, and then they grow from there. So today you own 1% of this property, tomorrow you own 3% of that property. If you do that over a period of time, if you bundle all of that together, your real estate portfolio is becoming robust. So that's what we are doing with Realty. Let me type that in the comment box. It's realty.com. Check it out. We are currently in the wait list. So if you go to the website now, you're just going to join the wait list. So you will know when we launch.
Okay.
That is one thing that you can leverage. Anywhere you are in the world, you can own real estate in Nigeria, in Africa, generally get returns and get reports. And then the documentation bits to that. We have perfected that. We're working with trustees, such that when you co-own properties, those properties are held in trust by a trustee company. If you are moving it to a beneficiary, it happens seamlessly without even having to probate and all of that. It's because of the demand that we've gotten, and I feel like it just makes sense for us to make more people have access to that, because I'm all about access. I'm all about access and making things seamless, because that's one of the reasons people have shied away from the African market. So just make this easy. So
yes, you make it sound so easy. You make it sound so easy.
This is what I do, right? And it's one of the things that I have always wanted to do real estate since when I was young. Went to study real estate.
Wow.
Helping people own real estate is one thing that gives me joy. I always don't like to say this, but if there's something I can do without you paying, it's real estate. You have to pay.
That's good. You're working in purpose. You're working in your life assignment. That's beautiful. And we see the passion in you. Thank you so much. And, in the interest of time, I know we can go on, and apologies to there's some questions that I think we've kind of covered, but, that we'll not be able to get to today, but I'm looking at time. I want to be respectful of all our times, but thank you. if in chat for all our panelists, I want to say, first of all, again, thank you for being here, for taking the time. I know it's been, a process. We've been, getting ready for this, all morning. And so thank you so much. If you can please, kind of drop your contact information if you want to, if you desire to, in chat, your social media handle, best way for folks to contact you if they have questions specifically about what you do. So for Titilola, you're in the mortgage, space, somebody wants to engage with you, please put that in there, Timmy, for you to, so that they can ask you more questions. Kenneth, same thing, if you don't mind, if you're comfortable with that, please share it with our participants so they can reach out to you directly as the expert. And I want to just say again, a huge thank you to our engaging participants, and more importantly to our panelists who have just poured out their hearts into just sharing with us and being very authentic with us, what to be careful about, what where to go, where not to go. So we really appreciate it, especially in these times when real estate is looking like, what am I supposed to do with this? So thank you. I'm going to move very quickly into announcements at this point. So we have a couple of announcements. Again, EPR, we do this, we do have our monthly webinars every month, every third Saturday of the month, 12 p.m. We always have something. So keep an eye out, for more topics, and, definitely we'll be sharing more information about the upcoming sessions that we have. Another another service that we provide, or resource that we provide, is what we call our Inspiring Conversations, where we bring ladies within our network and sometimes outside the network who are doing amazing things, have inspirational stories. And it's called, we spend, about 45 minutes to an hour with them, really learning their stories so that we can, kind of draw insights from them. So we have our next one coming up next week, Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's on Instagram Live, where we'll be highlighting one of our EPR ladies from Kenya, Miss Nkata Mwenda. And so looking forward to that. Also very excited. We do have this summer, we're planning our annual tea parties. So ladies, get ready. This time around, by the grace of God, we plan to have some in-person sessions. We've had to have them virtually over the past couple of years. And so by the grace of God, we will be able to, will start connecting face to face. So look out for more information over the next couple of weeks. As we, in the EPR Global Community, as you can see, we have so much going on. We have talked about our prayers, we have a mentoring program. We have a lot going on. For you to maximize and to be a part of this and really benefit from this, example is this is a space where a number of EPR ladies can come together and co-invest. If we decide that we have, and we have the right representative, we've learned a lot, we have connections here, what is it? I mean, business partnerships and all that, friendships. And so we want you to connect with us, join our community. The best way to do that is to join us via eprglobal.com. Just go in there, sign up as a member, at the very basic membership level, start there. If you want to be a contributing member, like where you have the various levels, feel free to do that also if you're led to do so. But at the very least, please join our community today. All right, we like to do giveaways every time we have these sessions. And so I think, I would like to know if there's anybody who is joining us for the very first time. And our team, Esther and Kumbi, are going to be taking a look at our chat group to see if there's anybody who is joining us for the very first time. I know we've lost a few people just because of time. So if you're joining us for the very first time, let's know in chat, please indicate. As you do that, I'll continue the announcement just for time's sake. If not, we're probably going to have to. Oh, Chidera, hi Chidera, welcome. Nice to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed the session and you gained some amazing insights.
I did. I'm glad I joined. Thank you.
Good. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Arizona. USA.
Arizona, US in the house. Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, congratulations. You won the prize for today. Yay.
Yeah.
Our team will be in contact with you for a little, token price that we love to. We're givers in EPR, and we love to welcome and, just love on our newcomers. And so hope to see you again next time and in all our other, and hopefully you can join our community also. Thank you. Oh, we also have another new person, Adebayo from Georgia, invited by Chichi. Welcome, Adebayo. Welcome. Glad to have you. And thank you, Chichi, for inviting folks. Again, God bless you. Just very quickly, sharing, feedback with us is very important to us. We want to hear from you on how the session went. We want to have concrete data. So once we're done with this, especially for those of us on Zoom, once you get out of this session, you're going to get an immediate survey that's going to come up. Please take a moment. It can take you up to 3 minutes to fill it out. If you can fill it out about your experience, it helps us determine the topics we choose for the future, and just to know how we're doing and any ways we can improve. It's very important to us. So if you can do that for us, we'll appreciate it. And I believe that's about it. I want to say a huge thank you, to my amazing team, Kumbi and Esther, who have been making this happen behind the scenes. Please give them a, virtual, chair on, or thank you if you can. Thank you so much. Thank you to our lovely panelists, Timmy, Titilola, Kenneth, Dolapo. You guys have been amazing to work with. Got your slides to me on time. You made our job very, very easy. Thank you for working so hard and being such an amazing panel. And thank you for the gems you dropped today. All our participants, thank you for always showing up. I want to say, God bless you as you go out. Let's take these nuggets. Let's not just let this be information, but let's process it. Let's see how we can apply it now or in the future, and do what we need to do as God is leading us. As we get it, again, we've heard land. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you're not. The time will come, but I believe that God is doing something amazing in our midst. Thank you so much. This is Kemi Akinduture again, signing off this month, and hopefully we will see you again next time.
Thank you so much, Kemi, for having me. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing session.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.